Hi guys, today we're going to be discussing the stages of learning. These are the different stages that we go through as we're learning a motor skill. Okay, these include the cognitive, the associative and the autonomous stages. Now this is just one theory of motor skill learning. Okay, it is not the be all and end all, and it's something that we learn and that we know about and that we follow. So Fitz and Posner came up with this, the process of learning motor skills. This theory does continue to be used today by sports researchers, by teachers, by students alike. It proposes that everyone goes through very distinct changes when they're learning a motor skill. So the three stages of learning a motor skill are cognitive, associative and autonomous. And as we go through, we start off as a rookie, like the young boy here, and hopefully we end up in the autonomous stage where we can almost become professional or become an expert in that skill. So we go from being a beginner, like this gentleman who's shooting free throws, he's making a few gross errors, he's not having that great of success, to this gentleman who is obviously in the NBA or in college ball, and he is just draining free throw after free throw. Now this doesn't just occur, okay, this takes hours and hours of practice. So when we go through our nature versus nurture concept and we discuss that in fact the nurture side of it, you actually need to perform a skill on average 10,000 times, okay, or you need to practice for 10,000 hours before you can move up into this professional level. Okay, so it's not just something that occurs overnight, it's not something that's genetic, it is you having to practice. Okay, so this person here has obviously lost a leg somewhere along the line, and therefore they're having to learn how to walk and how to run again. And as you can see, it has taken this person from the mid-2000s up to 2014 before it's autonomous. So in this video we're going to use the example of a step cycle to I guess as an analogy for trying to learn this motor skill. So as you can see, this gentleman, he's beginning off in the cognitive stage. He's making lots of gross errors. Okay, he is not very successful at all. Okay, likewise with this guy, he's making a lot of gross errors too. So what are some of the errors that he's making? Quite clearly his hands on the wall and he's using that as stability. His eyes are watching his feet and he's constantly having to think about what he's doing, and therefore he is constantly losing his balance. So these are gross errors. So gross means very large in nature. So during the cognitive stage you need to learn what you need to do to perform the skill. So you need a coach or a teacher or a mentor, someone there who knows what you're doing. Frequent errors are going to occur and you need to pay really focus attention on the learning of the skill itself. If you're in the cognitive stage, you need to have that skill demonstrated via a video or anything like that, or your coach. You need to allow a lot of time to practice. Okay, it's not just going to happen overnight. And don't overload yourself with too much content. Okay, break the skill down and just go step by step, bit by bit. In the associative stage, okay, this guy has moved on. He's able to do it. He's away from the wall now. He's able to complete the skill. It doesn't look pretty though, okay, it's not smooth, it's not slick. There's still minor errors in there. He can feel when he does it well though, and he can feel when he does it right. Okay, so that is this intrinsic feedback. And in the associative stage, you need to refine the accuracy and the consistency of the skill. The errors have dropped, you get more fluent, you get more successful. You can start to feel that feedback that I'm talking about. You know when you're being successful, and therefore you try to replicate that feedback, you try to replicate that feeling. When you're practicing, you start to see improvement really quickly in this stage, but this stage does go for a very, very long time. You need to start to practice the skill more in a competition type of environment, and you need to start putting yourself under more pressure. When you move into the autonomous stage, I wouldn't necessarily say this guy is, because he's still looking down. But when you get into the autonomous stage, you are no longer making those basic errors. Okay, your sequencing, your timing, everything is smooth, it is slick as. You know when you make an error, okay, and you know how to fix it. You can feel when you make an error, and you can feel what you did wrong. You can also perform beautifully under high stress conditions, under competition, with a defender in your face. Okay, if you've only got 1-2 seconds to make the shot, boom, you can do it. So a little bit of a breakdown, just as a little reminder. So the cognitive phase. This is the pre-practice phase. Okay, you need to understand what you need to do because you've got no idea. So you need a coach, you need a video, you need a teacher, you need to give the performance the full attention. You make big massive errors and you need to give feedback or get feedback at the end of each performance. In the associative stage, you start to make use of some feedback, either from internal or external, but you know what it feels like to be successful. You pay attention to that feedback and you try to focus on improving those parts of it. You start to practice a skill under different variations of situations, and you can start bringing us in competition. In the autonomous phase, it's automatic. You're just letting it go. Okay, you don't have to think about it. You're almost like a ninja. When that ball comes flying at you, boom, you either block on it, boom, you're catching it. Okay, you're doing one of those two things. It's just what becomes automatic. So that's the 3 stages of learning a motor skill: the cognitive, associative, and autonomous stages. Hopefully you understand. Big thanks to QTPE for putting that clip together. See you all.